This is my take two. The internet's not working and it booted me off. This is Marianne Goldweber, a spiritual teacher, professional medium, and owner of a village, which is a personal and spiritual development center located in Northeast Ohio. I just wanted to come to you live tonight to talk about our topic tonight, which is about having a spiritual practice and how important that is, especially as we're in all this change that we're experiencing in our world. So having a spiritual practice is different for everybody. So this is why I try to offer you different spiritual tools and understanding how the universe works so that you can create a program for yourself that's going to bring you to a place of peace, stillness, listening, and connecting with that divinity on the other side that's trying to help us. So anyway, so that's what I kind of wanted to touch base on tonight. So, you know, I have a spiritual practice and I do it in the morning. Okay. So my spiritual practice is in the morning. So I get my cup of coffee and I, do my morning thing. I take my vitamins, then I head out to my little sacred area and I sit with. Okay. And that's one of those words that you want to make note of, sit with, which is about creating stillness. So that I can have that meditative time to sit with a lot of things, okay, and then listen for the inner guidance that comes to me from, just reassuring stuff that comes from the other side. And so we have to learn how to create that stillness. So I have a space that I actually do this in. So I have a table where I have my sacred things and I put them out. And this is the place when I go to that place, that I'm in this sitting in this sacred area for myself. So I have all my little things out there. So, so I've got, let's see what I got. I brought some of my things with me. So these are just things that I keep because they're important to me. So I have some crystals. I have, this is a pendulum, I also have my handy dandy notebook. Okay. Now this is fun. Okay. I have had this notebook for 30 plus years. Okay. And this is my inspiration journal. So what it says on it is ideas, dreams, manifestations, visions, inspirations, insights. So I would recommend getting yourself a 3-ring binder and filling it with notebook paper. And because it's really important to take what's going on in our head and bringing it out into the physical world on paper. And so that's a way to get it from this concept kind of into the physical arena so that we can see it in another perspective. Okay. So when I'm sitting with things, okay, I also have other tools. I have the medicine cards by Jamie Sams. I've also got the Sacred Path cards, which kind of just zero in on something that you kind of need to hear today. So one of the things I do when I'm sitting in that stillness is I reflect on yesterday. Okay, so these are the questions I ask myself. So Mare, how did yesterday go? And so I sit and reflect on that. Okay, so what happened? Who did I meet? Where did I go? Did I go anywhere? And I have a list that I made I make in the morning after this process, and we'll get to that. So I review my list from yesterday and go, well, what did I get done? What do I have left? What had to wait, or things that I couldn't do right away? And so I sit with who I met, the experiences that I had, and I ask myself, what did I learn from that? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about the situation? How did it make me feel? And so again, this is what we call sitting with it. So reflecting on yesterday is one of the processes that I use. So sitting with where I've been, what did I do yesterday? Looking at my list and what I accomplished, and cheering for myself for getting things done. And then I sit with, I write all that down. Okay. And when we get all that out of our head and when we get all that on paper, this really cool, inner guidance okay, which is your stage crew, the loved ones, the ancestors, the folks on the other side. And now that we've cleared our closet a bit, our emotional closet, our our thinking place, out on paper, now it's out here. Now it's in the physical. I don't have to keep running around that in a loop in my mind over and over again. And again, it's really like 6 things. Okay. So once we put that on paper and we see it visually, you'll see that it's not, you'll get to see it physically. And then you can look at your accomplishments and things that you have left. And then I pull cards. Okay. So I'll pull a card. So for instance, just for fun, I'll pull one for you. Oh, this is fun. Raccoon. Okay. So when you look up the message of raccoon, it's the generous protector. Okay. Now, when you read the story in there about raccoon and what it means, as you're reading it, the universe is giving you some answers. Okay. So while I'm reading this, I will get some input about a situation that's going on today, right now in my life, where I need to apply being a generous protector. So it's funny because, sometimes it's not about how we're treating or what's going on with other people. It's about, are we generous? Are we generous and are we protecting ourselves? Okay. So you'll get all kinds of awarenesses when you read the actual story about that particular card. Now, you don't have to use these. Okay. But having some oracle, thing that helps you just have one topic, one focus. So for me, the animal cards are cool because I'll see animals out in the wild, okay, or I'll see things that look like animals, as we talked about in that last video podcast. We were talking about signs and symbols, okay? So once you have signs and symbols and you recognize what that means, now I know what this means, okay? But I still read the story all the way through for each one, because in the retelling of the story, you're always going to get something new out of it. And it's going to pertain to something that's going on right now. And then it also plants a subconscious seed in your head where you're going through your day and all of a sudden you're going to have a situation where you are the generous protector, or you have to set some boundaries and you're honoring yourself. And so then you're going to go, there it is. Or you'll be, after you pull the card, okay, then you happen to see a raccoon on your way to work or on the course of your day. You might even just turn on the TV and there's a show about raccoons. Okay, that's a confirmation for the messages that we've received. So when we have this spiritual practice that starts our day, it gives us a foundation of getting right with ourselves. Okay, getting right with myself. Because sometimes I'm feeling all kinds of ways, okay? There's a lot going on in the world, and I think it's very important for us to get right with ourselves before we head out into these situations that are going out there. Everybody's going through an awakening. People are feeling sad or angry, or they're in denial. I mean, there's just a lot of emotion going on out there. And so this is like spiritual armor. So when you know who you are and you know that you are divinely connected and that there's a bigger purpose for you and there's a bigger purpose out in the world, that's what having this spiritual program does for you. Okay. So I've been giving you little tools along the way, but really the best way to get the tools that are specific for you would be to do coaching or to have a session. And because then I can kind of clear up that static, and they tell you where the blocks in the road are and how maybe you could navigate or do something a little different that's going to kind of unhink the hose of that ability to manifest from the universe. So having a spiritual program gives us the objectivity to go out in that world and trust ourselves, trust that everything's happening with a purpose. And so we can be a little more detached from the energies that are going on around us. And so I know that I've awakened, okay? I've had to look at my life and my stuff and the things I've done and all of that. And I have to tell you, it's a process and it's not always pleasant, but it's also about acknowledging all the beautiful aspects of who we are as well. It's so easy to be critical of ourselves and other people, but once you understand yourself and you know yourself and you come to a place of acceptance, okay, because Everything I've done and had it happen in my life has made me who I am. And so, but the process of working through those experiences to this place of acceptance, is a process. And the spiritual perspective reminds you that that's why we're here. We're here to experience this life. We're here to create experiences with people. Came here to create experiences with us. And there's all kinds of wisdom and knowledge that comes from those interactions. So again, the more you understand spiritually, the less you're going to take it personally out here in this physical human world. And so, so for me, having a sacred place, it doesn't have to be a big deal, guys. It's a little coffee table in your room or around the porch or out in the yard. I always have a place where I can bring my sacred things. So I actually have a basket that I have these things in, and it's mobile, okay? So I can take it outside. So if it's a nice day and it's quiet out there, I can take it outside with me. Or I can move it to another room. Sometimes I want to do my sitting with things here in the development center. So I'll come down here and it's pretty quiet, so especially in the morning. And so, I'll come down here and I'll bring my little basket of things with me and I'll sit with things down here because it's a different energy. Okay. So whether I'm doing it here in the development center or in my little sacred space, which is really just a table that I have my sacred things on and my coffee. And this is my quiet time with myself and God, myself and the gang. And so because, once we get out in that human world, we have to remain objective and not react to the fear, we want to learn to respond, and it all has purpose, as painful as some of these things are. But, there's always destruction before construction. So here's the little list that you might want to make for yourself if you have your pen and paper there. I have a notebook. Okay. I always have, you should see here. I have hundreds of spiral notebooks. I always have one readily available at my sacred space. Okay. This is my idea dreams journal. Okay. So this is like ideas that I have, ideas that are being given to me. And I write them all in here. Now, some of them may apply now and some of them may not apply, but when they come, I just write them down. Okay. And I make note of that. Now, I have to tell you, I manifested when I was in the process of awakening and moving and shifting, this journal, I can't tell you how valuable this journal is. I have things in here that are 30 years old. Some of the things I could implement right away, some things I couldn't. It helped me just make lists of, things and ideas that I had about creating things. So when I had the herb store, when I was leaving corporate, I'm not kidding, guys. This thing's 30 years old and I still use it. Okay. And I still refer to it. I'll go in there. In fact, this is funny. So, it's one of those things that I just keep in here. I've done a lot of community stuff and I forgot this was even in here, which is kind of funny because it's in one of the weird little pockets that are in here. But it's Outstanding Service Award from the City of Cleveland City Council. It was given to me by Jay Westbrook and for citizen engagement. Okay. I totally forgot I even had that, but it's just really interesting. But I keep a lot of those important, accomplishments in there, and so like I've got the whole list of what I wanted. Look at this. I've got the whole list of what I wanted the huge retreat center to look like. I went room by room and wrote about everything that I would do in there and the classes I would offer and the events that I would have. And so even that's still in here. Now there are some things that I have purged out and let go of, too. So again, when you have, one place for things, maybe get yourself one of those trappers and have a notebook in there along with, whatever, but you need somewhere to write this stuff down. And so that's what I use. I have notebooks, lots of spiral notebooks. I make lists, and I process what I'm feeling. And so sometimes the cool thing about having the spiral notebook too, or the loose leaf paper, is when I'm done with an awareness, or I've taken the lesson out of whatever experience that I had, and I come to a place of gratitude for that. What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about, and so you just sit with all that. And then I take the whole thing outside and I burn it. I let it go. I just take my big Dutch oven pot outside, and I just burn it and let it go. I'm grateful for the experience, grateful for the lessons, but it's also, something that we have to release. So getting a notebook, having some kind of an oracle is kind of nice too, because it gives you a focus. So I would highly recommend, if you go to my website under products, there's a link to Amazon for Jamie Sam's products. So we use her Moon Lodge book, but these two card decks are called Sacred Path and Medicine Cards. Okay, this has all the symbolism that'll really get you started. And then the universe is like, okay, Marianne's paying attention to the animals. Marianne understands what the directions mean, so they can start really giving you more insight, more information. So, fun story. So when I was going through a big awakening, it's not one day, guys. It's an ongoing process. Okay, we're always awakening. There's new things to see and new things to experience. So I was in the middle of this thing, and one of the things that was coming to me was crow. So the interesting thing about crow is it's about bringing messages from the void, bringing inspiration and insight from the void, okay, where everything is created, and into the physical world. And so the crow says, pay attention, bark, 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 right? I'm not kidding. Everywhere. And I've told this story about crows before, but this was really kind of interesting because, like I said, having that insight or pulling the card, okay, and then again, seeing the crow is a confirmation for what that message means. And so I would recommend these two books. Literally saved my life. Okay. It gave me a focus when everything in my life was just an absolute chaotic mess. And all I had was this spiritual path to really ground me. Okay. And it's very grounding because it reminds you that there is purpose in this, even if you don't understand it today. And then again, having that divine input helps you rise above all this human created crap, even if you created it. Okay, I created a lot of human crap. And, as we're unpacking and unpeeling all that off, that this spiritual guidance is really the anchor in the storm of all that. So, Jamie Sam's, it's on my website under products, and there's a link to Jamie Sam's products. So it's Medicine Cards and the Sacred Path. Now, the Sacred Path is all the symbolism. So, for instance, this is interesting. This is a great card. This is exactly what we're doing now. So, the Shaman's Death. So, anytime we pull a death card, about whether it's in, that's in every spiritual program of any kind, has a death card. Now, it's not about physical death. It's about the death of the illusion of who we think we are, or it's the death of our ignorance. It's about we have to have that shaman's death in order to be reborn into this spiritual life. Okay, so the shaman's death is about death and rebirth. Okay, so things have to end, guys, before new things can manifest. So sometimes we are going through these deaths, these deaths of our expectation, the death of relationships or something that you thought was one thing back here. And now that you're wiser, you see it differently. And so we're constantly peeling off those things, and we're going 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. So again, this having an oracle is very important. And then learning to be still. Now, this isn't easy for folks. So if you have a hard time being still, okay, I would recommend doing things like tapping. Okay, if you guys go to, there was a website called tapping.com. They're on YouTube. So if you look up tapping, there's this pattern that you do by tapping on these nerve endings on your face and upper body. And what it does is it brings your left brain and right brain together, so it stops that twirly brain thing. And it will stop anxiety in its tracks. Anxiety is just fear, guys. And the more you know, and the more confident you feel, the less fear will rule your life. Okay. I have faith. And so, there's very little to fear. Okay. I've made peace with a lot of things, including my own death. So having an oracle is very important. Tapping. That's a wonderful thing to ground yourself. Another thing I do is you got to feed all the bodies. So I take my vitamins in the morning. I pour my coffee. I make a little breakfast sandwich for myself. So I'm doing all of that while I'm out in my quiet time. Okay, my meditative time, and paying attention then. So once you do those processes, you're going to feel way more prepared for the day. Okay, and I love having my sacred things out. Okay, I've got lots of cool sacred things, and you don't need a ton of things, but they all have a meaning to me. So the things I keep have a meaning. Okay, so I don't necessarily use a pendulum all the time, but this pendulum was something that I had since I've had the herb store. Okay. I mean, I've had this a long time. And so there's a lot of really cool energy on it. One of the Buddhist monks that used to come to my store would do energy work with my pendulum. So it was really fun to have those experiences with him. So that's really, for me, this is a sacred object that has a spiritual meaning for me. Another thing is this big chunk of turquoise. Turquoise is very protective. I've had this stone for over 30 years. Okay, I've had it longer than I've had my kid. And so turquoise is very protective. It's just to remind you that we have this spiritual protection around us. It doesn't protect you. It gives off the energy of peace and protection. Okay, we're always protected. Okay, but the rock, having that energy of turquoise, holding that, reminds you and gives you that feeling of solid confidence. Nothing can hurt me. Okay, so these are my sacred things. I've got a whole list. I didn't bring them all down here today. But yes, so having your sacred things in one place. So when you enter the stillness, when you enter the space, you're automatically knowing that we're going to be doing some sacred work, So that's what I want to talk tonight about, was once we have a spiritual program, okay, that we work every day, okay, then it brings you to a much more peaceful place, a more objective place as we're dealing with these human situations as they come up. So you're not reacting, you're responding. And peace makes way better choices. Fear reacts and it makes very bad choices, okay? It gets you probably further in the shitter than if you just sat with it for a minute. So again, it's all got purpose. The trick is learning to listen for what is the purpose of this, And sometimes, there's a clear purpose to it. I'm learning something about myself, about stepping through my fear, stepping through into a new arena. Guys, we're constantly evolving. I mean, this is never just over, and I get discouraged. I get disappointed. But it doesn't last for long. I mean, I'm human. We're all human. Okay. You got to cut yourself some slack. Okay. We're not perfect. We've got a world out there that is so critical and so harsh with people. That it doesn't give you grace to be kind or compassionate to yourself. We're all works in progress. We're all learning something new. Okay? Every day we're going to learn something about ourselves or about other people, and we're constantly evolving, especially in this time. This is a very important time. So news. I am lowering video sessions to $50 for the next 2 months. Guys, we need guidance. Okay, it is so powerful to sit with your ancestors and relatives now that they're on the other side. They're rooting for you, okay? And they will tell you where the blocks in the road are. They tell you how much they love you. So some of the work I do is helping people through the grief process, and coming to peace with losing our people. And they're fine. They're in another place, and hearing from them and hearing that wisdom is so comforting. So this is the time. It's $50 for a 1-hour video session. So I would highly recommend that you get online and you purchase that time, because nothing's better than just one other person sitting with you in this place and reminding you of who you are and reminding, I have faith today, even if you don't. Okay. And so it's wonderful because when you leave our session, you feel heard, you feel empowered, you feel confident, more confident, and you feel like you can actually create a game plan. Okay. And for those of you who've had sessions with me before on here, you're welcome to give a testimony. But I'm just saying, guys, I'm lowering the price because we all need this. I mean, I don't want this to ever be a thing that people can't afford. Okay. But, you can also turn your friends onto it. So it's going to be on my website. So in-person sessions are still $80. Okay. But video sessions are wonderful. It does not change it for me. I like being in your company and in your presence, but I've got clients all over the country. I've got clients out of the country. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for us to just really get some time to get our spiritual game on, And I love sessions with you, okay? Helping people through situations is sacred work for me. So anyway, but if you're looking for also just a little cheer squad to tell you you're doing great or this is what you need to do differently, like I said, that's what I'm here to do, is to clear up that static so that you can start trusting yourself. So I would highly recommend creating a spiritual program for yourself. It's not a building, guys. We can have church in our car. I can have church in the park. I can, for me, entering the stillness and creating a sacred space isn't about a building, okay? It's about a peaceful place wherever I find myself. So if it's down here in the development center or it's in my car in the park, now I have to tell you, I'm not a big fan of sitting in the park alone, okay? Especially nowadays. It's so weird out there. So I find quiet places to be. I have my patio. Granted, it's a parking lot with, traffic and things. But once I'm in that stillness of that space, I don't even notice all those things going on around me. But having these tools and having this program for yourself, it's kind of like eating. You have to have a physical program, you have to have an emotional program, and you have to have a spiritual program in order for all these bodies to really work together. And so again, yes, so I'm going to chat with you guys here in a second. So we're going to talk about that. And, but again, guys, this awarenesses are a process. Okay. And the spiritual perspective is one that most people will not go to. They can't. Okay. So once you see it from this higher perspective, it literally takes all these situations, all these people right off the table. Okay. My teacher used to say to me, and I'm going to say it to you, every person that comes into your life, your space, your awareness is a teacher. The experience that they give us is part of the lesson. If it's a good experience or it's a negative experience, okay? But it's happening for you, not to you. And so when we go sit with that, we have to ask ourselves, how did I get in that? What did I learn from that about myself and other people? And then we let the teacher go. Okay, Dave used to say, Marianne, take the lesson and let the teacher go. These things are designed to make us better, not bitter. And when you hear that, it's giving you permission to let it go. It's giving you permission to let it go. It's a beautiful thing. And quite often, even in sessions, when we're done, we'll take some awareness and we'll take it outside and we'll burn it. I'll burn something on my end and you burn something on yours. So this is about getting you guys on the road, because once you're on the spiritual road, it's a solid road and there's very little that can come along and knock you off of it. Okay. But it takes practice, just like anything else. You don't get good at anything once. You've got to do it, consistently. It's not about the action. It's about how consistent we are with these things. And you'll find that new things start to manifest. Better things, start to appear. And all you got to do is shift the way you look at it. And that's what this spiritual program does. It brings you above this human stuff. And it shows you that anything is possible. This is all man-made, guys. Okay. God didn't do this. People did this. Okay. And now it's taking spiritual awakening people to change it. Okay. So it's like waking up and the house is on fire, okay? At first you're like, and then you're like, okay, where's the door? Where's the fire extinguisher? What are we doing? That's where we are. So everybody's in these phases of awakening and grief. Nothing's worse than waking up and realizing it's been like this your whole life. Okay. So denial is a very powerful thing, but we don't have the luxury of remaining ignorant either. Okay. So having truth, being willing to love yourself enough to not settle for less than you are worth. That takes practice, So anyway, call me. Let's schedule some time. My channeling event for the 20th is sold out. Okay. We have one more that is on the 27th of June, which is a Friday night. So if you want you and your friends to get together and have a party, now don't wait for me to have a public event to have an event. You could have your own private party. Just call me, 216-324-2657, and we'll schedule. I can seat up to 12 people here. You can bring your own food. I provide all the soft drinks. But having that group together is just wonderful. So yeah, join us for a public event where you'll meet other cool people too. But if you want to have your own private event, just give me a call and we'll get that booked. So anyway, so that's kind of what I had tonight. So let's see who's here and let's answer some questions. Now this thing scrolls funny, guys. Well, hey, Melissa and Karen, Patricia. Hey, Michael. I'm going to be posting this. Michael has a Tuesday night meditation group, which is on Zoom. And so I'm going to actually do a little write-up for it. And you guys should. Michael's amazing. He's an amazing facilitator for a meditation group. He always gives you a focus he has a little focus, something to focus on, a teaching of some kind, and then just sitting in that meditative state reflecting on that. And it's wonderful. He has such a nice voice and he's such a nice guy. Hey, Katrina. Good to see you. Hey, Angelica. Yeah, it's always fun to see you guys. Hey, Tina. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Joanne. Well, hi, La Deanna. How are you? Hey, Gail. Good to see you guys. Okay, do we have any questions? Oh, hey, Karen. Katrina. Katrina says, that's my problem. I have to stop reacting to negative energy. I don't know. It depends on, so that's a loaded thing. Okay, that's vague. Negative energy, who's bringing it? Is it people you know? Is it people you don't know? Setting boundaries is very hard, okay? And sometimes the sitting with it process is me writing out what I'm feeling. Okay, so let's say somebody pissed me off. Okay, so let's say their name is Joe. Joe pissed me off. Okay, and I'm like, rah, and I'm feeling some kind of way about it, and I will just write it down. Write it down. Joe, you asshole, blah, 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 or whatever I'm feeling. Okay, and you run out of steam. Okay, and that's where the universe goes. What'd you learn from that? How did you get in that? What is it about you that said yes to this thing, knowing that it was? So that's where it takes it all back to you. So how did we get ourselves involved in this? What was our expectation of that situation? What did you think was going to happen? And again, you said you have trust issues. Okay, raise hands, put a little heart on there, guys. Everybody in this room has trust issues. Because honestly, there weren't a lot of trustworthy people. But the problem is, it's not other people. We don't trust ourselves. And when you can get right with yourself, okay, very little can make you feel some kind of way. Because I already know myself. I know why I do what I do, so now I know why other people do it. That's the beauty of this. So once you get clean and clear with yourself, they're not doing it to you. They're doing it for you, okay? And again, if it looks like poop and smells like poop, it's poop. Okay, why do you keep putting it in a glitter bag and bringing it home or letting it in? Right? So what's the motive behind this? And that's what we talk sitting with it. This is what sitting with it does. So again, I teach you how to sit with stuff. Okay, because I'm sitting with the universe and I'm showing you how these messages apply, and then to give you the tools so that you can unpack all this. Okay, but we got to trust ourselves. I know that I used to invite some people because I was afraid of being alone, or I was afraid that people wouldn't like me, or they'd be mad at me. Okay, honestly, I like my own company. I am not afraid to be alone. Okay, and I don't mean I'm never alone. First of all, none of us are ever alone. You do have people that love you. Even the people that love you are like, what are you doing? Nothing's worse than your own kid. Okay, Jared's like, Mom, why are you doing that? And I'm like, that's a really good question. Why am I doing that? And so, again, fear makes bad choices. Trust keeps away the right people. Trust issues keeps away the right people and allows the bad people. So, again, our expectation is what is it you want or expect? And again, I don't know where the negative energy is coming from, but again, that's someone else. It's so interesting. I used to walk around angry all the time. Okay. It wasn't personal. Okay. I was just angry at the past, at people, at situations. And so I never really targeted other people necessarily with that, but I walked around critical and angry all the time. And I could not at that time see myself outside myself. Okay. And so, I was negative energy. Okay. And it keeps people away. Okay. And so I had to really sit with that. And it not once, guys. Okay. This sitting with stuff is all the time and peeling it back, new awarenesses, letting things go and working through that. So that's none of us have, but I do have, I trust, but I'm very selective about who I trust. And I'm very, clear about that with myself. So maybe that's something we could do in a session, Katrina. So give me a call and we'll set you up. Okay? Sounds good. Hey, Angela. Hey, Sue. What do you do if you have trust? Well, the only way to build trust is through confidence and not relying on necessarily sometimes other people. We've got to learn to trust ourselves. Hey, Rudy. Hey, Joyce. Hi, Sharon. Susan says, I'm getting more comfortable being alone since my husband died. Well, that's wonderful, Susan. And again, it's hard. It's like going through withdrawal when someone that we love passes away, especially when it's your partner, your husband. We don't realize that we become dependent on each other. Subconsciously. Okay, just having someone in your world for such a long time, and then, they're not there anymore. Yes, it's a process. And again, we're all becoming. Okay, and learning to be alone is not easy. Now, this is a phenomenon that I see quite often with people, is they have never been alone. Okay, so again, being independent and being alone is really a wonderful thing. It's very important because we tend to go from, one place to another place and never really being self-sufficient. And because again, when you're in a partnership, you tend to become very reliant on that other person. And so, yes, so that's something that I've seen a lot, is learning to be alone. Now, again, our children leave us. This is things that they don't prepare you for, guys, is that, the older we get, the more, the wings that I used to hold for others, I don't need to do that anymore. For them specifically. And so it's a bit of a death to sit with losing our partner through death or losing our children through just them moving away. And, there's a lot of transitions like that in life. And so the more guidance and insight you have, the smoother that goes. But I'm proud of you. Good for you. Yeah, now it's becoming your house. Well, I'm proud of you, Sue. It's not easy. And it's a roller coaster, guys. Grief is not something you get over. It's something you get through. And, but once you have the spiritual understanding that our loved ones really aren't somewhere else, they're standing right here. They're standing right here. I would love to see them in their physical form. Okay. But we've just got to settle for knowing that they're there and trusting. This is why I'm giving you these spiritual tools so that you know when they're there. You trust that they're there, and that the input that you're getting back is from them, and that when you're dreaming that they're there. So anyway, so that was the topic for tonight: how to create a spiritual foundation for ourselves. Because once you have that, it eliminates fear. It calls in all the right things. You don't settle for less than, and you hold yourself accountable. Okay, that's another thing. The universe has handed me my ass, going, well, what'd you do that for? I mean, that's love. They love you unconditionally. They have no trouble telling us the truth. But the truth can be, uncomfortable. Is seeing that I was the person who created this. My insecurity invited the wrong people. And then I'm mad at them for treating me like shit when they treat everybody like shit, So again, this is all the awarenesses. But once you understand and you have confidence, you're going to invite way better people to the party. Okay. And the universe is like, well, she's ready. She's not inviting the wrong folks anymore. So these magical new things just start to appear. It's just fascinating. So again, sessions are $50. Go pay online and then call me and we'll get you booked. If you want to do 3 sessions, that's called coaching. Okay. And that's where we do 3 sessions in succession. Well, that's a tongue twister. Like once a month or whatever. So I would recommend getting yourself some Oracle. I love the Jamie Sams because the cool thing about the indigenous perspective is the animals and all this wisdom is found in nature. Okay, so you'll see it out in nature, okay? And so it connects us to the seasons and all the cycles and all the wonderful things. And so Jamie Sams is on the Blue Road of Spirit now. God bless her. I always wanted to meet her. And so again, our dreams are going to get very powerful. So schedule some time, and I can't wait to see you. So the event for the 20th is sold out. I'm updating the website as we speak. And then the 27th, there's still an event, a public channeling event open, and join us. Yeah, or have your own party. Oh my God, have your own party. It's so much fun. So anyway, somebody commented? I agree, Katrina. You can't please everyone. First of all, they're unhappy. And the reason they're unhappy is because they're choosing to be unhappy. So no matter what you do, no matter how much dirt you try to throw into that hole, you can't fix that for them. Okay? If they're unhappy, it's not your fault. Okay? So, I mean, that's something we can talk about. We're talking vaguely now. So it's much better when we're in one-on-one together, guys, because again, we can really talk about what's going on and then having that spiritual understanding about what that's really about. And you're like, oh, and then it automatically changes. It's amazing. So anyway, I'm good for you. Yeah, again, Katrina, I've invited the wrong people to the party because I didn't want to be alone, or I wanted somebody to do it for me, or I was lonely. We got to learn to love our own company. And, sometimes, creating your own sacred space for yourself helps, So you're awesome. I love you guys. So thanks for joining me tonight. So again, let's have a spiritual program. It's wonderful because it's a foundation you can stand on as the whole world is getting one lesson after another. People are awakening. They're waking up and they're like, what the hell's going on? Right. But like I said, the truth can't stay hidden right now, guys, okay? Until October, Pluto's retrograde, which is bringing up all the truth. It cannot stay hidden. And that's like my favorite thing is when I've been talking about this stuff for 40 years, okay? And now here people are going, did you know that this was happening? I'm like, yes, my whole life. I've been preaching this sermon for 40 years, guys. Okay? So none of this is new to me. Okay? And again, I've been going the other way my whole life, trying to, affect change, trying to be the person that's going the other way, changing things. So yes, people are late to the party. It's just, I hope it's not too late for everyone to awaken and do something about it. So you guys are amazing. So thank you so much. Denise, thanks for joining me. Sue, thanks for joining me. And keep the peace and pray for our world. Okay? You guys got this. So let's do it. Count me in. All right? Have a great night.